Okay, so the first two questions on your opener today, it says convert to a decimal, round to 4 places if necessary. In order to change a fraction to a decimal, you're going to divide your numerator by your denominator. When I say your numerator, what number is that going to be? Yeah, so your numerator is your top number, your denominator is your bottom number. So you're going to have to show me your work. So when I say you're going to have to show me your work, you're going to write it out. 3 divided by what? 4, which equals? So if you take in your calculator, 3 divided by 4, you get 0.75. And then that will be your final answer. No, you cannot just write 0.75. I want to see that step. Okay? Yes, you could write just 0.75. Sorry, Darius, I shouldn't have interrupted you. I should have let you finish. So make sure you show that step of the 3 divided by 4 equals 0.75 or 0.75. The second one here, we have 3 sevenths. So if we have 3 sevenths, I want to change that fraction to a decimal. So I'm going to follow the same step what I just did. I'm going to divide my numerator divided by my denominator. So I'm going to take 3 divided by 7. When I do this, I'm going to get a longer answer. What's the answer that your calculator is going to give you?
0.4285671429.
Okay, we'll just stop there. Now we're going to round to 4 places, which is the 10,000ths place value. So what I do when I'm rounding, I underline the number that I'm rounding it to. So if I'm rounding it to the nearest 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to underline my 5. I'm going to look to the right of that 5. Is that number next to the 5 or greater?
Yes.
If the answer is yes, then what you're going to do, that underlined number is going to move up 1 place or 1 value. Does that make sense?
It's a 60 and everything else is
Correct. So the 6, so that 5 rounds up to a 6, and then everything else behind it drops because you only want 4 place values after the decimal. So that's going to be your final answer. So when you're rounding decimals today on Con, it's not going to tell you round to the nearest 100, round to the nearest 10,000. It's going to tell you round to 4 places if necessary. Yes. Yes. All right, let's look at the next one. So this next one here is going to be adding and subtracting square roots. This is what we were working on last week, so you guys should be pros at this point. So in order to add or subtract square roots, what's the first thing I need to do, Brendan? Yeah, I'm going to factor each radicand. Okay, so for 8. Okay, keep going. For 49.
7 and 7.
And for 50.
5 and 2. 14, 25.
It's getting down out there. Okay, so we're going to come up. We're going to put our equal sign. And then because it's adding and subtracting, I have to simplify each square root, which means I have to keep each square root's prime numbers under its own separate square root sign. So the square root of 8, the prime numbers that I'm going to put under that is what, Deontay? 2 times 2. Then what do I bring down?
Then bring down the plus. Then 7 times 7.
Under my square root sign, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then minus 2 times 5. No, yeah, times 5.
Okay.
And then circle your factor
Okay, stay there for a second.
Boom. Boom.
Okay, now these factor pairs cancel with my square root sign. They become a single number in the coefficient. Some of you guys are still struggling with what number goes on the outside, what number goes on the inside. The number that is crossing with the square root sign, you got to bring that to the outside. It's kind of getting kicked out of there. It no longer belongs there. So Rihanna, the square root of 8 simplified is going to be?
2 squared 2, right?
Okay, keep going.
Plus, that's just a regular squared 7.
That's just a regular 7. Because the square root of 49 is a perfect square. Okay, keep going.
Subtract 5 and squared 2, right?
Perfect. Now I want to write my answer. I want to simplify, combine like terms, and write my answer in order from least to greatest. Which number am I going to write first?
7.
The 7. Good, because it does not have a radicand. So a number or a coefficient without a radicand goes down first. Then I'm going to combine like terms. Since both of my square roots have a radicand of 7, I'm going to combine 2 square root 2 minus 5 square root 2. So you're going to combine your coefficients here. So what's 2 minus 5?
3.
Negative 3. Yeah, that's important. So negative 3, and then my radicand stays the same of square root 2. That should be your final answer.
Why parents gotta be next week?
So now, flip your opener over. You have 2 more problems. Multiplying square roots. So multiplying square roots is what your quiz is going to be over tomorrow. Okay? So, when we're multiplying square roots, you need to follow 3 simple steps. The first step is multiply your coefficients. Well, do I have a coefficient to multiply here? No, so I skipped a step 2, which is go ahead and factor your radicand. So my factors for 12, Nick? Keep going. And then for a 75? Now the second part of step 2 says I need to make 1 square root sign for both radicands. All the prime factors from both radicands, because I'm multiplying, goes under 1 square root sign. So I'm going to put all these prime numbers in order from least to greatest under 1 square root sign. So when I go to do that, what do I write, Jemiah?
2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times.
Do I have them all?
No.
What am I missing here? Oh, I'm missing another 3.
Yep.
Okay. Now the last step is just simplify as normal. So that means I'm going to circle my factor pairs. And then I'm going to cancel my factor pairs with the square root sign and write them as a single number in the coefficient. Now, the step that I'm going to write here in green, you don't have to show on your quiz. I like to write it out. It just helps me keep my work straight. But you will not lose points if you do not show me the step. So what numbers come to my outside number?
2, 3, and 5.
So 2 times 3 times 5, which equals
30.
30. So your final answer is 30. Because every number canceled with the square root sign, there's no square root. There's no radicand. Since there's no radicand, we don't need a square root sign anywhere. How you guys got that one right on your own? What do you have on your paper that you shouldn't have? Why shouldn't you have that there? Did everything cancel with that square root sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just got rid of it. Okay, last one. What's the first thing I do here, Ayance? And you get? Second thing, Devante. Say again? No, not multiply my inside numbers. Factor them. Okay, so what's your factors for 18? All right, for 9?
3, 6 and 10. 6, 23, 10, 25.
And now what do I do with all these? Under 1 big square root sign. Okay, those prime numbers listed under 1 square root sign in order from least to greatest. Isaiah?
2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5.
So 1. Let me make sure I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? And then step 3, I go ahead and simplify as normal. Circle my factor pairs. Again, what I'm going to write here in the blue, you don't have to show this on your quiz for points. I like to show the extra step because I like to work all my steps out. So when I go to rewrite this, what numbers are going to be in my coefficient?
3 times
Say it again.
10 times 2 times 3.
Okay, and then what numbers are still in my radicand?
2 times 3 times 5.
And then my final answer is going to be, so 10 times 2 is Say it again.
60.
10 times 2 is 20.
Oh,
No, I think
I
you're.
was talking about the whole thing.
She's talking about the whole.
Take that 3 out of there.
The 3 gotta be there.
That 3 has to be in there.
Three, 6, 3 times 2.
The whole answer.
No, I messed up on my opener twice today, I think. Okay, so 10 times 2 is 20 times 3 is 60. Square root, okay. 2 times 3 is 6 times 3 is. I messed up on my opener twice this
That's
morning.
exactly what I said. Somebody want to say no.
Thank you. Any questions on this one? All right, let's go ahead and pass them back towards Mr. McFarland.